When you sit down to study, the friction is massive. You have to choose a topic, locate your notes, and face the uncomfortable possibility of not understanding the material. But scrolling your social feed is engineered to be a frictionless track. The platform makes all the decisions for you, and the next piece of content arrives instantly. This preference for scrolling is a response to the high novelty and low effort of the platform. To change your behavior, you need to redesign the learning environment to lower the activation cost of sitting at your desk. By the end of this video, you will physically format a paper-based study system and use it to complete a science-backed 25-minute focus block. To begin, you need to gather exactly 4 items: your primary textbook, 2 blank sheets of paper, a pen, and a standalone timer. You cannot use your phone as the timer. Experimental evidence shows that just having a smartphone in the room, even if it is face down and you aren't touching it, disrupts your cognitive capacity. Put it in another room. Step 1 is the friction audit. Look closely at your physical workspace. Any object, book, or gadget that is not actively required for this exact study session has to go. Clear the desk entirely. Next, we set the target. A goal like study chemistry is vague, forcing you to rely on your mood. Instead, write down a specific, measurable target. Solve questions 1 through 8 without notes, check errors. You need a clear finish line. Now apply that same audit to your digital space. Close every browser tab that isn't directly related to those 8 questions. If you haven't moved your other devices out of the room yet, do it now. By pairing a measurable target with a zero-friction desk, you remove decision fatigue. The academic work becomes the path of least resistance, freeing you from needing motivation to start. We are going to format your 2 blank pages. One will be your distraction capture sheet, and the other will be your active recall sheet. Take the right page and draw 2 lines down the middle to make 3 columns. Label the first column Question: What must I know? Label the second Answer from memory, and the third Correction. Label the top of the left page Distractions. During your session, your brain will inevitably prompt you to check messages or look up random facts. When that happens, you will write the thought down on this page to externalize it without actually acting on it. We draw these columns and write these headers before the timer starts. This eliminates the cognitive load of deciding how you'll study once the clock is actually running. You do not need to feel ready for a long session. You only need to commit to the very first action. Tell yourself, I will sit here for 2 minutes and write down the first question in column 1. Once that behavior begins, continuing is a completely separate choice. Start your timer. Push through the 2-minute threshold into the active recall loop. Read the question, close the textbook, and write the answer from memory in column 2. Then compare your work and log mistakes in column 3. When the sudden urge hits to grab your phone or walk to the kitchen, write the urge on your distraction sheet and immediately jump right back into the recall loop. Staring at a blank page in column 2 is going to feel uncomfortable. That difficulty is a sign of desirable difficulty, the process of retrieval practice that strengthens the associations between information and memory. When that 25-minute timer rings, you must stop working immediately. Put your pen down, even if you are in the middle of a sentence. Look at this 6-point study scoreboard. Give yourself a score from 0 to 2 for focus, difficulty, and recall. This trains you to track the actual quality of your process, rather than raw hours spent at a desk. Now, take a bounded reward. This must be a strictly limited 5-minute activity, like making tea or stepping outside. Do not engage in an open-ended activity like scrolling a feed, which easily expands to consume your afternoon. This scoring and reward cycle helps the brain associate the study desk with a manageable challenge and a visible sense of completion. This closes the habit loop, making the behavior easier to repeat tomorrow. Look closely at your workspace. You now have undeniable physical evidence of your progress, a filled-out recall sheet, a list of ignored distractions, and a completed scoreboard. This diagram shows how your system compounds. That third column of corrections is now your error log. It automatically becomes the starting material for tomorrow's session, forcing you to practice spaced repetition on your weakest topics. You have successfully stopped passively reading material in the hope that it sticks, and started actively generating answers and tracking your execution. By making the very first step microscopic, making your progress highly visible, and intentionally stopping the timer while the work still feels manageable, you have re-engineered your environment. You have proven to your brain that studying is a loop worth returning to tomorrow.